Right, that's enough of the sadness. It's time to bring the fun back into the kitchen. So let's share some ideas between us in today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to Not Pasta Again. If you've been listening to my last couple of episodes, you'll know that life has been a little bit up and down for me recently. Eating through the tough times hasn't been easy, and neither is finding your way back when things still feel messy. And it got me thinking, when times are tough, the kitchen doesn't feel like a fun place at all. But here's the thing, it isn't only during tough times that the kitchen loses its joy. Life is stressful, time is pressured, and when you add in the responsibility of feeding yourself and your family, the kitchen can quickly become the last place you want to be. For some of us, it's not even about stress though, it's also about boredom. Same old meals, same old routine, and suddenly cooking feels heavy, dull, and even, let's be honest, a bit crap. And for others, when you feel like you can't cook, as in it's not your forte, then it becomes a lifeless chore, plating up food that you consider to be possibly substandard. In fact, there are probably plenty of other ways in which the kitchen becomes a place of disillusionment. But I don't want that, and I'm guessing that you don't either. The kitchen shouldn't be just about responsibility. It should have joy in it. And that's why today I want to talk about how to reintroduce fun into the kitchen. But why does fun matter? Well, let's face it, food isn't just fuel. Yes, it keeps us alive, but the way we eat and the way we cook and prepare it really does shape how we feel about our life in general. If cooking is always a grind, it's draining. But when there's fun involved, then there's definitely a lift. It doesn't mean you're suddenly whipping up 5-course meals. It just means that being in the kitchen feels easier, lighter, and even a bit enjoyable again. So let's think about how we can bring fun back into the kitchen. For me, it's about small things. It's nothing big, nothing overwhelming, just small shifts that remind me that the kitchen isn't always about duty. So top of my list is music. Put some on whilst you're cooking, something that makes you want to move or sing or just feel a little bit more alive in that space. Secondly, try something new. It doesn't have to be difficult, just something simple, not a showstopper, maybe just a new spice, a different type of grain, or maybe a salad with a fun, different twist, because I believe curiosity in itself is energizing. What about adding color? A plate of food can feel instantly more cheerful and inviting with a fresh, vibrant vegetable on it, or even just a little garnish. It might sound silly, but it does make a difference. What about getting somebody else involved with you? Your kids, your partner, maybe even a friend. Invite them into the process. They don't need to do a lot. They can just be there, talking to you, stirring, or maybe just chopping one thing. Because sharing an experience is always going to make that process feel lighter. You can also change and shift the atmosphere that you're in. Now we're heading into autumn, maybe light a candle, maybe pour a drink. Just make the space feel like it's for you, not just a job you've got to tick off. And then finally, I would say lean on your gadgets. And for me, that's the Thermomix. It just takes away the stressful parts of my job in the kitchen and lets me focus on the bits I really actually enjoy. And you know what? I can't sing its praises enough. It really is the essence of fun in my kitchen. And so many of my customers comment that it re-engages their passion for meal prep and cooking because it is just a piece of kit that I think every kitchen should have. So I knew I was going to record this episode, so I really wanted to get some input from you guys. So I asked the question in my Facebook group, I sent an email out, and I just said to you, what brings fun into your kitchen? And I've had so many good responses, and I'm just going to share some of those with you now. John said, I find cooking fun when it's for the sake of it rather than for a need. If it comes out great, then that's a result. But if it doesn't, then so be it. I usually have music on whilst I'm cooking. Nothing better than getting lost in a few good tunes. To me, what John is saying is that is all about mindset mattering. You can cook without pressure and it turns it into a playful event rather than a chore. And that music, as I've already mentioned, it just amplifies that joy. Joanne posted a comment in my Facebook group as well, and she said, A herb and spice drawer and the explore function on Cookadoo bring fun into her kitchen. I absolutely love that. I am somebody who is all about organization and control, but also here what Joanne is saying is that she's getting inspiration, which keeps the fun in the kitchen as well. Tina also said on Facebook, besides cooking something exciting, company and a glass of wine, happy for someone to just sit there and talk to me whilst I'm cooking. And I think this is going back to what I've just said earlier, that food is about connection, having somebody with you, a good conversation and a glass of wine. It just makes the kitchen feel like a nicer place to be. Anne also commented that fun for her was daily inspiration from you lovely people. As a singleton, it can be hard to stay motivated and try new dishes. I try at least 2 new dishes every week, and I get excited about that. I love that. Trying new things is very much about being alive and keeping the kitchen fresh. And for me too, that is something that I try to do, cook something new every week. This comment from Sarah is so visual, and I think we should all indulge in this from time to time. In fact, I would love to see some photos of this happening. She says, putting some tunes on, dancing like no one is watching, singing into my wooden spoon or whatever implement, condiment, or ingredient I have to hand. It all goes on out there when I'm in a session, trust me. I just love it. And I think I'm smiling as I speak. It sounds infectious. There's nothing better than having that music on, dancing around, and just turning your kitchen into a stage. That for me, Sarah, is pure joy. And then we've got Jodie. And I think Jodie's comment probably rings true for most of us at some point. She says, right now, there is not a huge amount of fun in my kitchen. It's all practicality as we're all at different stages of work, education, and outside commitments. I just enjoy the weekly planning and that practical element of having it planned, prepped, and served up with the least amount of chaos as possible. Creativity? Yes. Free reign on creating exactly what my family needs, no matter what creeps up in this wacky game of life. I think, Jodie, that is the reality check, isn't it? It isn't fun all the time for all of us. I think you've captured that beautifully. But I also think that by having that planning component in your world, it enables you to have that creativity too. So I hope that that makes it more manageable. Katrina finds joy in cooking for others. With her comment, she says, I do cook to please others more than myself. And again, I would say this is about you, Katrina, sharing your love with people in your life. And that is a powerful motivator. And I guess food is one of those simple things that you can share with people. And lastly, Madeline says that she finds cooking quite meditative and doesn't think about anything else. So absorbing. That's so far removed from how I experience the kitchen, but I absolutely love it. Love it. It's so beautiful to think that you are taken into that space, and that food is, I don't know, about bringing some calm into your life as well. That's amazing. So what does that say? I think it says that we all have a different perspective. For some of us, it's music, dancing, and letting go of perfection that gives us fun in the kitchen. For others, it's about having organization. Some, it's inspiration. And it's also about the joy of feeding people that you love. Sometimes it's about community as well, finding peace in the process and just making it through the week with less chaos. So I hope by sharing some of that insight from some of you lovely listeners that the rest of us can also find a little bit of inspiration to bring some fun into our kitchen. So for me, as I've said, the last few weeks have been a very interesting process for me where I think the kitchen has been a difficult space for me to be in. And that has been hard to process because it is somewhere that I usually find so much joy. And I think what I've realized is that fun isn't about having balloons and confetti and consistently being happy in the kitchen. And I think for me at the minute, what I'm trying to do is give myself permission to try to be there without any pressure. And by doing that and lightening the load that I'm putting on myself, I am starting to feel like I'm having a little bit more fun in the kitchen again. I'm not saying it's exactly as I thought it would be, but it's just a new space for me to explore. And I will echo some of what has already been said by you guys. Music has been really important to me at the moment. It isn't currently making me want to dance around the kitchen, but it most definitely does lift my spirits to make that whole process of putting food on the table a little bit lighter. Alongside that, I'm also exploring new recipes, perhaps ones I wouldn't normally cook, so that it gives me a different focus, not looking back, but looking forwards. And at the minute, I'm really loving puff pastry. I did a deconstructed Big Mac kind of dinner, and that was absolutely beautiful. And it's something I wouldn't have cooked beforehand. So changing up what you're making can also add an element of fun into the kitchen as well. I mentioned in a previous episode that I'm also following Dominic Ludwig, who is a nutritionist that I found on Instagram, and I'm really enjoying investing some time into a new way of, I don't know, eating more healthily, something a little bit different to what I would normally do. She's really sparked something different in terms of my interest in food. And again, just putting a different angle on what I'm doing has changed the focus in the kitchen, so it feels more interesting and therefore more fun. So here's my thinking. Fun doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about pretending life is easy or that everything is rosy in the kitchen. It's about creating small sparks that make your kitchen feel less like a burden and more like a place that you can enjoy being, even if it's just a little bit. So this week, I'd love for you to try one thing, just one thing that might make your kitchen more fun. And I would love for you to tell me what that is. So you can email me at notpastaagain@hotmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram or in my Facebook group. Because food should bring us joy, not stress, not guilt, not just responsibility, but joy. So thank you for listening. Let's keep flourishing with a little bit more fun in our kitchen.